Assalamualaikum and very good morning everyone. So welcome to the FS free week 2021. Okay, so for your information, so we have 8 speakers for this week, and today is the first session, and Dr. Norma is our first speaker for today. Okay, I'm glad to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Norma Alias, who will be sharing with us on how to protect from data breach and data leak in educational environment. So I will share the attendance link in the chat. So if you have a question, you can just leave your question in the chat. Okay. So now I know that you can't wait for sharing. So now here is our special guest.
Thank you very much to our chair, Dr. Fuada. Again, seperti Science Future Ready Education, Future Ready Educator for 2021. Right, I'm Associate Professor Dr. Norma Alias. Okay, today I try to explain on how to protect the data breach, data leak in education environment. As we go to the content for my talk is an introduction to the educational environment and its security. Okay, what is a data breach and what is a data leak, and the element of the data breach and data leak, and strategy to protect the data breach and data leak. Okay, how to avoid, how to prevent the data leak and data breach. Example to protect strategy. Okay, the future educational environment and its security. The last is a conclusion. All right. Okay, let's we go to the start of our slide. Yeah, here. Okay, my survey with some student. Okay, number of student, number of lecturers. Okay, I saw that 70.4% they don't know what is a data leakage. All right, and how to protect the data leakage. All right. So now, since we're dealing with the environment, okay, online environment, virtual environment, there is a connection, okay, multi-connection, multi-layer connection with the dimension of the educational environment. What is the dimension? You can see here, we can put in the 3D, 2D environment. The second is the learning environment skill. Okay, what is the learning that you want to explore, you want to expose during the online environment. All right, what is a student expectation and what is their perception? So that's we want to discuss for 5 minutes, right? So I can put in this diagram, okay, the dimensional of the online, okay, environment in education. Okay, now we call as an education 4.0. Okay, the dimension, the parameter, the factors is the student development. We want to have a relationship between the student and lecturer, okay, and then there is a university culture nowadays. Everything online, everything virtual, everything in digital form. Right. So now, since okay, we are quite eager to know the perception from our student, okay, we can say that in terms of the student development, okay, we try to develop a sufficient opportunity to engage with the student. The second is the relationship between us as a supervision. We want to support the learning, okay, online learning. All right, so next is the cultural, okay, where there is a clear communication between us and student and the performance, okay, for this communication. The last is, okay, as a lecturer, we want to create a safe environment for learning process.
Sorry for the interruption. So from the title, there are two important terms that for me I never heard that before. So there is a data breach and data leak. So can you explain to us what the meaning of that two terms? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In Malay, we said that data breach tu ialah pelanggaran. Data leakage is a penggodaman, godam, okay, in bahasa Malaysia. However, if we compare between the data leakage and data breach, okay, you can say that data leak is a lack of the proper access control, Data breach is an incident which is the data is stolen by somebody, hackers, for example, social engineers, and malicious actors or insider. Okay, so the example of the data leak is okay, what happened to the website, the email, the lack of the proper access. Okay, so we need to control our server, our system, our website, okay, our email, to make sure the data, okay, not leakage. For example, data that they want is a what? Is a credit card number, customer data, personal data, for example, your name, your telephone number, your address, your more information on personnel, all right, and then the password and others. For data breach, you can see this is bad actors, from the hackers, from the malicious insiders, social engineers. Their access to the data, your sensitive data, they want to do some intention based on the data for other negative feedback, for example, the reputation, the political issues, and no integrity in this case. Right, there is an ethical issue, and then the serious process is hacker plant themselves into the system and able to, and we realize after a few months, after a few years. All right, the function for data leak is just to utilize your data for a certain year and lack of the clarity, okay, clarify, and could be used in the future. Okay, they want to exploit the data for the future. All right, so now by using a single password for the multiple site is happen, okay, for the data leak. Data breach, okay, is like you full a part of your device, okay, you lay down, you put aside, and then there is a thief to come over, okay, for your hard copy notes, your USB note, okay, your external drive, okay, the computer and mobile device. Okay, there is a information loss because of the hackers. Okay, unauthorized person gaining access to your laptop, to your email, to your computer network, all right, and then they stole, okay, the device information, all right, and then this is a high risk to be highlighted. Okay, so you can see the difference between data leak and data breach. So data breach is more important nowadays because people dealing with the device, network, software, and hardware. So now, you look at in 2017, Malaysia have a big problem because 46 million mobile, all right, phone is leaked on the dark web. So now there is a three category data breach. Okay, the first is confidential, and then the second is integrity and availability. So I put in I compare with some website I go in. The first is confidentially. The confidentially means that we unauthorized access to the data, okay, and disclosure. So in this case, there is an opportunity for hackers, okay, to find something. For example, in 2020, 27, okay, July, a classroom, okay, go back online. However, there is a hacker to find the opportunity. Integrity is how responsible people like administrator, okay, hold the data, keep safe the data. We don't know. It depends on their integrity, availability, meaning that data breaches at school give a high risk for the student, okay, background, student family, security, and so on. This is an impact when we deal with the three categories and abnormal, okay, data breach. Right. you can see here, okay, we are now in smart education, smart school, smart learning, smart classroom, smart university. So we deal with the wearable, okay, device, for example, hard disk, computer, okay, laptop, okay, and then okay, many devices, and we call as an Internet of Things, okay, dealing with the Internet of Things, meaning that there is a network, cloud, device, and data. Even though Johor, Bandar, Nusajaya is considered as um, smart cities nowadays. So the next question is, okay, why we need to know all the integration between device, network, system, and cloud that you're using in education 4.0. Okay, the first is a communication network. To display all information in a real-time mode, communicate using connection device. For example, okay, in front of you, I know you have a digital pen, the interactive board, and so on. So there is a network between actually, okay, using wireless, using local area network, all the commercial network nowadays. So we deal with the network. We always ask students to check the bandwidth of their network. So the next is a new generation of the textbook or e-content. Okay, we send a QR code to the student, and then we get back the textbook on the device, and we deal with the e-content, for example, video, animation, all right, e-notes, and so on. So there is a new generation of the textbooks nowadays. And then the third is, okay, is an advanced security. We try to increase the security, data security process, how to detect whether your system hacked or not. So we want to know how the market size for our IoT in education environment. Okay, US stated 16.62 billion by 2026. Okay, IoT in education market is increasing. It's a huge business. Okay, so in this case, okay, we believe that, okay, by doing all the device, the network and system, okay, student can adapt learning. Student can use a smart software for learning. They can improve learning result. And then towards the end, they can already adapt or sustain with the online learning. For lecturers, okay, the smart tool is important for us nowadays for teaching, to support our teaching. All right, then of course we are using a tracking, okay, process, tracking the attendance, tracking their okay, eyes movement, body movement during their examination, and more flexible with the education process. So we are not aware about the security in educational environment. The third is an administrator. Okay, we need to have a smart monitoring of the our server, our network, our, okay, communication, handling the process of online teaching and learning with the student. All right. So at this moment, we are using e-learning. Okay, e-learning always, okay, increasing their security purposes, modifying the network, okay, the server, the memory, and the speed up. Okay, so that's we know. So when we talk about improving online learning process, so there is a communication network involved. There is a new generation of the textbook or e-content. Okay, there is a data collection in cloud. How, for example, okay, your cloud, for example, you are using Kahoot, okay, e-learning, okay, there is a cloud inside there. All right, so how you manage the cloud, okay, arrange the cloud and keep secure. And then advanced school management. This is very important. University take part to make sure the security, the, okay, confidential, the integrity, the availability, okay, of our system is taught. Okay, make sure to the trust between the student and lecturers. The advanced tool for education nowadays, okay, I already mentioned in my previous talk, okay, we have too many education, okay, 4.0 tool and apps. Based on the student perception on education 4.0 during COVID-19, I think, okay, 80, more than 80%, okay, student responsible to run, okay, the education 4.0, right? So because I believe that students said that they just study and then they hope student lecturers can help us. All right, I do some question to my student. Okay, we have many students, 110 of my student. So this is a feedback for my student. Okay, the first is, okay, they really hope, okay, lecturers to support their online learning, online study, right? Then the second is they really hope lecturers can support their resources, e-book, e-content, video, animation, okay, whatever using, okay, cartoon, for example, okay, for their learning. The third is how much time you spend. Okay, this is my question. How much time you spend, okay, for overall on online learning? So students said that more than 5 to 10 hours. Okay, you can see here more than 5 to 10 hours average online learning. All right. Okay, what is a device to support your to support your online learning? Okay, the students said that laptop. How many percent? 91. Okay, 91.8% using laptop. Okay, they're using laptop. So I know, okay, meanings that set in my mind, I need to have to make sure their bandwidth connection, their laptop is well to support my system. For example, I'm using e-learning, I'm using Post, okay, I'm using Nearpod, EduPuzzle, Padlet. So I hope this computer, this laptop, okay, will help me to communicate with the student. All right. So now, okay, what is the, you feel the interesting tool? They said Kahoot, because I'm applying Kahoot. Quizzes, okay, 25%. And then Quizlet, I'm also running a Quizlet, but just, okay, do the active learning in group, okay. All right, so now, okay, in the class, okay, there is a teaching material. For example, okay, we have an online tool for teachers. Okay, I'm using e-learning, Post just now. Okay, Nearpod, EduPuzzle, Padlet, Quizzes, Kahoot, and others. Okay, and then social media, I'm using Telegram. And then I try to adapt the Bloom study course content as a homework and then post to the student. And then the video conferencing, okay, of course, okay, sometimes I'm using streaming, okay, before this, I'm quite active using YouTube streaming, okay, because the student have a low bandwidth connection, and I'm regular to get a feedback and assess the student performance. Okay, this is a tool that I'm using. Okay, actually, when we go to the 2020, okay, educational tool, there are many. Okay, here you can see YouTube, for example, Facebook, for example, you can see here. Okay, you can see this corner as an analyze indicator for motivation, okay, to the student. And then second, I'm also using a few created, okay, information, okay, for example, EduPuzzle, okay, I'm using video maker software and so on. I believe that you know who are around you, okay, teachers, we are teachers, so around us is a data admin, our student, technical support, okay, designer, data science, data analyst, all right. Around us also, okay, we have our colleague and so on. So how we keep engaged with them, how to make sure that they support our online teaching and learning environment. So you can see here, okay, three types of data breach. Okay, what is that? The first is a physical breach. Okay, because they can hack through laptop. Okay, they can do, okay, some modification at the desktop computer, USB, pen drive, CD, external hard disk. So sometimes, okay, we left, okay, our pen drive, and then they try to do some, okay, data breach to our data, for example. So it's a physical breach. This happened to. The second is an electronic breach. Okay, the system attack. Okay, because of the low security at the network environment. All right. So maybe the system or the website, okay, is contained with the vulnerabilities. okay, system. For example, they're using maybe open source to mass open source, not integrated with the licensing software, not integrated with the licensing OS operating system, and so on. So this is more attack on the system or network. And then the other one is very dangerous. We call it scheming. Okay, scheming where the thief plant into the device. All right, there is strict data on the back of the credit card or device. This is happen. Okay, that's why your handphone very hot, your laptop is very hot because there is a strict data, okay, planned into your system, into your device. All right. So this.
Okay, Dr. Norma,
Mm,
I have a question.
mm.
So based on the topic, we are discussing on the data leak and data breach. So can you share with us based on your experience, why do the data breach happen? Why it happened?
All right.
Thanks.
All right. So now, okay, since thank you very much, Dr. Fuada. This is the impact of the future ready education or education 4.0. Okay, our time limit in front of the computer increase. Okay, so many devices in front of us. Okay, for example, external handphone, okay, iPad, and then we have computer. Okay, number of computer. Okay, this is come like my experience during my PhD. I'm dealing with the server. I'm dealing with the high performance computing system. All right, and then I'm dealing with the okay, very huge cloud. So it's a common, okay, when you deal with the future ready education 4.0 or online teaching. So now, what type of the data breach? This is a question we keep in mind. What type of data breach? Okay, I can listed 7 types of data breach. Okay, the first is a stolen information. For example, a careless left portable device. Okay, you left the portable device, you left your external hard disk, you left out, okay, everywhere your pen drive and so on. So this is a careless. Okay, so this happened as stolen information. Second is a ransomware where somebody getting image a message from email that the computer or the handphone has been hacked. Okay, this one be careful because it's come like a virus, okay, to your message messenger or to your email. The third is a password guessing. Okay, when the password are stolen, so they start guessing for other system, other network, other software, other device. They start guessing, and then recording the key strokes. Okay, this is a criminal because okay, you will get email. Okay, they can insert to your email the malware that can record the email or plant into your server, into your device, into your handphone, and start recording what are you typing onto your computer, onto your handphone, and so on. So this is considered as a cyber criminals. Okay, and then phishing attack from the third party hacker. All right, so you have to know vendor. University always find vendor. There is a considered as a third party, okay, hardware system to support the system. So there is a phishing where they create the system, other website is look incredibly genius. For example, YouTube, okay. For example, Yahoo, they create another Yahoo. It's like genius. Okay, so this is a we call third party hacker, and then malware or virus where they will send to your email, okay, to your handphone, okay, the messenger, and then the virus, okay, will ping your computer or device. And then the last is happen to the larger company, okay, because the hacker will create a form of protest. So you can see here 7, okay, will be happen to us because of the data breach, right? So now, when we talk about network security, okay, people not aware about the network security. Okay, you are at home, you have USB, you have a port, okay, you also have hub, okay, in your home. So how is deal? How will protect, okay, your we call as a free educator 4.0. All right. The first is since okay, we have a device, okay, for example, computer, yeah, okay, there is an IP address, okay, in the hardware, and then we are using operating system, for example, okay, you can use Linux, Windows, okay, for if you're using handphone, is for example, you are using iOS uh, operating system and so on. So there is a firewall to protect the operating system that you're using. That's why sometimes, okay, you need to format or backup your system because low security at the firewall level. All right. The second is an application. This start you are okay, create the second authentication. I will explain, okay, after this what is a second authentication for your system, for your email, for your Facebook, and so on. The last is a user. Okay, as a user, keep, okay, make sure your data in the private in very good manner for the security purposes. All right, and then next you deal with the system, right? Or you now complete, okay, running Internet of Things, dealing with the system, dealing with the network, dealing with the device. So in this case, okay, software developer, IT manager, administrator, or log editor is very important to control the specific system, the specific apps, the specific courseware, and so on. Okay, so you need to aware about this, okay, environment. Okay, and then the next is the network security. When you deal with the network security, okay, three important elements should be in your mind. What is that? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Right. So this is a way to protect from the authorized access. For example, what is the unauthorized access? For example, people out there, hacker from out there, social engineers, okay, out of your mind, and malicious actors or insider, okay, start hack your system, your device, and the network. Right, so this is not easy. Okay, we're not aware all these three elements. What's that? Device, the system that you deal with, and how you configure. I will teach you how to configure your device and system, okay, to make sure that there is no data leak or data uh, breach, right? So let's we go to the some cases, okay, the latest cases, data leak and data breach in online education, right? The first is okay, 1 million record exposed to the hackers. Why? Because, okay, when we deal with the e-learning, okay, e-learning website or server, okay, you are deal with the e-learning, for example, learning management system. You also deal with the Google Classroom. This is considered as a e-learning website. And then you deal with the cloud, okay, which is easy to get around of the system of Educator 4.0. So be careful because there is a personal information start exposed to the others, such as your email, okay, your password, and your full name, your address, and so on. All right, so this happened that leak in online education. Right, the in 2020, okay, September 2020, still in COVID-19 pandemic, education data leak in Australia, where online mathematics resources with the huge user database appear. Okay, this is considered as a big data, large scale data leak. All right, so you can see here, okay, how easy, okay, the social engineers get the data. This happened because of the third party services. Okay, what is the third party services? We can talk. Okay, we can describe after this. Okay, now the school. Okay, the school in US leaked 24.5 million record. Okay, what happened, especially in California, affected to 710 colleges and 120 breaches, okay, where 16.9% of colleges in California suffer because of the data breach. So this is a common happen. You can go to the news, okay, even though in Malaysia, okay, and then you can see here, it started in 2000, is 2013 here. It's very high cases, especially in Yahoo. Okay, more than 3 billion user account were compromised. Okay, and then Facebook, we are always dealing with the Facebook to share knowledge and then to look some information to learn online learning and so on. So you can see in 2018 the loss of 29 million users personal data. All right, what they attack, the personal data. All right, so there is pro and cons and how to secure the data from Yahoo if you are the users of Yahoo. Okay, if you are very active, okay, post your sharing your knowledge at the Facebook. And the others is a Canvas. Canvas is one of the system to support the geographic design tool website. Suffer also from the data leakage, has with the password function and expose the email address and all the personal data. So you can see here, okay, there are many ways um, how it's happened, okay, to our system that we deal for data leak and data breach, right? So you can see in 2018, 27% of respondents indicate that their information was leaked. Okay, why? Because the system of Facebook is not in the very high ends, okay, protection or good firewall or good authorized, okay, for handling the Facebook site. That's why you can see, okay, there is so many data leak. For example, in 2018, 50 million, okay, data leak. Right. So the weaknesses, okay, you can see here there is a two types. Okay, other software that you use now. Okay, maybe check. Student love to use check. Change is also okay. Happen to their system, okay, because of I don't know who is their customer, but 40 million, okay, data leak, okay, data leak. All right, so now let's we go. Okay, how it happened? Okay, what is the weaknesses? Okay, after hosting tribunal detect that the weaknesses is come from the people keep logging in the Facebook. Okay, they don't need to re-enter again their password for the whole time, and they keep use this Facebook. So this is the weaknesses. Okay, why? Because hacker, okay, you, okay, as a users keep log in without enter, okay, uh, any password. So means that the system always on, okay, with the open to the weak network, with the weak security, with weak the confidential issues in the Facebook. The second is you can see here, okay, attacker or hacker, they exploit the vulnerability in the code. What is a vulnerability in the code? Okay, means that this the operating system, the hardware, the cloud is can be changed. The code is can be changed. So you can see view as, okay, you can do many things at the view as. This allowed them to steal the Facebook access token, and people suffer because of this data leak. Okay, what is the suffer? Because the profile data open to the hackers, and the second is a user preference and interest also, okay, open to the others people. For example, I don't know, maybe social media engineers, insider, okay, I'm not sure, okay, what is their intention, okay, to hack the Facebook. The next is a LinkedIn. I know you are quite active using LinkedIn because we want to find our network, okay, our collaborator. We want to communicate with the collaborator. However, this is considered as a piece stolen for 170 million email and password, okay, by the Russian hacker, okay, by the Russian hacker. And then 90% of the password was cracked within 72 hours. It's really a surprise. What is the compromised data? Is it email and password? Email and password, right? So from there, okay, they can go further. Okay, so now, okay, let's read. send back to the moderator, Dr. Fuada.
Okay, Dr. Norma. As educators, we have to face this issue. Okay, so especially nowadays, we have to implement all the online toolkit. So my question, how educators can secure their online educational environment?
All right. So since we deal with the system just now, with the network, with the server, and then with the way how we do the configuration. All right. So I can explain how the data tree, okay, in the educational environment. Okay, I start from the university. Okay, the purpose of university is they're using. We hope that they're using vulnerability software, for example, high level language, all right, okay, or very protected with the good license, okay. So this is will secure the vulnerabilities. What is that? Is more on the coding, okay, coding or open source, the hardware, the operating system, the software to develop by this languages. For example, I'm using Scilab, I'm using Cras, I'm using TensorFlow, I'm using open source software to replace MATLAB, for example, right? So the next is an Educator 4.0 software. Okay, there is an unauthorized third parties, okay, that we deal with. For example, okay, I'm using Facebook, but at the same time, I'm using the third parties, okay, software, for example, how to make a video, how to make a cartoon, animation, to integrate with the Education 4.0 software, to put in the in the Facebook, for example. So based on the integrated, okay, so I need to think about my account, my privacy, and my security. There are so many alternatives. Okay, if the IP block, if the system block, there are so many alternatives nowadays. For example, here, okay, network IP. Okay, how to protect. Okay, there are so many network, okay, provider or communication provider nowadays. You can choose. All right, maybe the routing of the network you can check from the traffic. Okay, and isolating the compromised network. All right. And then the next is online teaching and learning. So you can see here, I'm start from the university, and then next Educator 4.0, and then how I keep my account safe based on the privacy and security. Okay, there is a column for the privacy and security. You go to that column and try to fill up. All right, because they will dealing with the network IP. Okay, for your device, for your system, okay, for your hard disk, all right, and then the operating system that you're using. Okay, when we deal with the student, for make sure student trust us, okay, working with us, safety, okay, safe, okay, in the security manner. So you will know that student have their personal information, for example, their name, their contact information, date of, okay, their birthday, okay, their course enrollment, okay, and social security numbers, exam submission. You see how we want to remain secure, okay, or being compromised as a result of the breach. So this is keep in our mind to make sure that all the information will be insecure, and make sure that students trust us, okay, when we deal with the online teaching and learning. Meaning that we connect with the internet, we go for the network, okay, and then there is a network between the device and device, and then there is Education 4.0 app software system, okay, that we are using. For example, okay, I know among of you using a mathematical software, e-learning, learning management system, and any provocation, okay, software, for example. So the three element for the pedagogy during the learning outcome, okay, for example, pedagogy, okay, you create the motivation for student self-determined learning. The second is a peer group, okay, or a peer-to-peer. We call as a pedagogy environment. And then cybergogy, because we deal with the device, okay, we deal with the Education 4.0 software, we deal with the network. And then what is our product? Our product is what you do now is innovative of the online teaching and learning. When we deal with the hardware, they make sure your IP address, for example, 62.255.173.182, keep safe. But some software, they request or they can absorb your IP address. It is common because when you do a data transfer, so IP talk to other IP. So this is you need to aware. Okay, you can see here I'm using Cision Nice. Okay, the IP is listed when I do a data transfer between my server, my computer, to their cloud. To solve, Doctor, for other question is strategy. How to make sure there is no data breach or data leak. Okay, how to do that? The first is limit the use of portable device. For example, okay, your USB hard disk. Okay, or what is a portable device? You save the data now. Okay, so now start knowing about the data transfer. Okay, how we need to keep save the portable device, okay, in our place, in the safety place, for example. And then the second is control the cross-platform, okay, between Linux, Mac OS, Windows, okay, OS platform. All right, maybe if you are using handphone, iOS platform and Androids, okay, because when you do multi-platform, it is become more safe, right? Especially when you use a multi-platform, okay, for the multi-device, a laptop, smartphone, and tablet. The third is a monitoring data. Okay, how we monitor the data. What is the support educational institution, okay, that can monitor our data, all right? Of course, okay, especially monitor and control the sensitive data transfer, okay, delete or encrypt data location, and protect our IP address. Okay, since you are at home, so there are many ways to do privacy and security for protect your IP address. All right, so okay, we always give aware, okay, to the student, be more proactive and communicative on the aspect of IP, their password, okay, all right, in the security or in a trusted environment, all right. So make a report to the administration, to the student association, if aiming to raise the awareness, okay, make a report that if there is something happen, okay, to the server, to the system, okay, to the network when we do the communication. So this will increase the trust between student and university, all right? So the important is what? Educate on the consequences of data breach and impact of the system hacked by someone. This is our aim. The other strategy is using a dynamic code analyzer or multi-factor authentication. This is very important. I will go to the page, okay, after this, how you need to modify your second authentication. All right. The next is choose a cloud-based online education. It is critical to conduct through the security analysis. Okay, so when you deal with the cloud, for example, you're using e-learning. Okay, where is the server? It's a cloud. Okay, where is the server for Kahoot, quizzes, for example, is also in the cloud. So how you secure? Please make sure go to the again to your account, to your privacy and security account, and make changes. Secure password is the best practice, okay, especially in your learning management system, because we deal with the student and then there is a large amount of student data can be harvested. And that's we try to protect, right? And then when we deal with a third-party software solution or Windows, okay, there is safety or security to secure the software tool. Okay, example, in my case, I'm using machine learning. I need to integrate between the Scilab, okay, TensorFlow, and then the Keras. Okay, so there is a third-party solution that I need to use to complete my research, for example. So aware the disruptive technology, the disruption technology for e-learning, for Google Classroom, for Moodle, for MOOC, or any learning management system that you're using. All right. So what is mentionist actors do? They will disrupt remote learning that you create, and then they try to get the information, okay, from the description, okay, to the society, and still malicious authors or insider, right? So why? Because they need this database for their future attack, for their future attacks. Okay. Okay, the next is a search for the additional of data security. There are so many, okay, acts for data security, for the security purposes, for privacy, and for the how to hack, okay, people, your IP by using a dynamic IP, for example. Okay, right. So there is a data tendency policy. Okay, for example, priority security for your data privacy, for example, when you deal with the education software. So search for additional of data security. So the specific educational software, there is a priority security. Okay, you need to fill up, okay, the data privacy, you need to fill up the form before you use this software. If you notice there is an abnormal, okay, report to your administrator. You need to have other alternative way. For example, many network, many server, many system, okay, many okay, operating system that you're using to avoid, okay, for the abnormal set in your mind. There is a security mindset. We call it a security mindset to get a very strong privacy policy, okay, privacy data, to make sure you create a strong, okay, password for cloud tool, because you deal with the cloud now. Okay, get some knowledge, educate yourself, okay, educate your student how the system can be hacked. This is very important. And engage with the first, okay, mindset about the security across your student. All right, means that this is one of the function as a lecturers, because you are deal with the online teaching and learning. So I can okay, categorize this strategy into three parts. The first is which part you can do, which part you need to do, and which part you have no okay potential, you have no ideas to do. You need to deal with the management, IT provider, IT management, software developer, and so on. Okay, what need you to do? Okay, the first is I know you know how to develop a safe password. You also very good, okay, to use multi-factor identification. You have a capable, okay, to monitor your email, your receipt. Okay, for example, flight ticket. Okay, there is a QR code there. Okay, how you protect. Okay, because the QR code will contain your personal data and email retraction. Okay, what need you to do, but you need help. You are not expert, and myself also. You need to get some, okay, information about the firewall network. If you're using Ligna, okay, there is a firewall. Okay, you need to set the firewall, and then system security and security device. Okay, security device, handphone, for example, you put password. You keep the password. You keep your bank account password in a safe place, not through your email. That will affect it to you. Okay, and then regular back all data. Install antivirus. Okay, maybe you need to use a malware software to make sure that the system in the safety manner. Primary and encryption and description. This is very important. There are many software to support this environment. Okay, and then you need help. And then the next is available for management. We hope that, okay, people will educate. Okay, the university will educate about the data security, and then the best practice how to avoid from the data breach and data leak. The second is a document the cyber security policies. There are a few number of policies to protect your data in government. Malaysia government also have. Okay, I will explain after this. And then practice standard security audit. So there is an audit, okay, to look out the log, okay, the log data, for example, data in, data out. I intend to express here is a personal, how you create the personal register. Okay, for example, you can see here Okay, you need to create your name, your email, okay, university, the company, the phone number, the letter for intention, what you want to write something, all right? So okay, when you want to use this software, all right, you go to the data privacy, go to the security. There is a place where you need to change your data privacy, okay, and then data security. Which one you want to compromise, which one you don't want to compromise. Okay, if you go to the system, for example, login to my.apm.my, okay, they always remind you exit from your web browser, okay, and then create the authentication. So this is your task. Okay, you need to make sure you exit from the web browser after using the Gmail, after using the YouTube when you want to post material to the student, and then remove account of the Facebook after using the Facebook, because you try not to share, okay, the information about the Facebook, your the email that you use for the Facebook and so on. And then for the Padlet, I'm always not using Google, using Microsoft, using Apple. I'm using my own email, private email, and my own password, which is not dealing with the Google, Microsoft, or Apple, because Padlet is a third party. This is the way how we do. Remove account from your web browser and try to insert the second authentication. What is that? Okay, the second authentication, okay, or second verification is, okay, when you create this, they will give you a QR code, the numbers, okay, the value, okay, the words, okay, where the words can appear in your email, in your handphone, Google Authenticator system. So this is very important, because only you can open the system. If something happened to the system, there is a hacker. Okay, so be careful if you are using all the apps that you're using, that you're focused. Okay, for example, tweets here, there is a verification code to your telephone number, All right, so now how to get the authentication code, how to get the authentication numbers. You can go to the Google Authenticator. You always miss, okay, this information. You try not to use, because it's really okay, make your problem. Okay, when you want to go to the email in the short time period, you cannot do, okay, because you need to go for the Microsoft Authenticator. Okay, you need to go to your email and find the the code number, or find the words they appear. For example, okay, in the Dropbox, they give you a numbers. Dropbox, I know this is one of the important cloud if you have a huge data. All right, so they give you the numbers of the authentication, second authentication. All right, okay. Now, receive the code or scan code. This is very also important, because when you deal with the student using the social media, for example, Telegram or WhatsApp, you want to make sure the student come to the class, come to the exam, so you are using Messenger, okay, Telegram or WhatsApp. In this case, okay, don't integrate between all the social media apps using handphone and your computer. If you want to connect, please use scan, okay, scan or numbers or login using the QR or code through your handphone. So this is very important when you integrate between the social media, for example, tweets, okay, and then Instagram with your computer. Okay,
Dr. Norma, we have a question from Prof. Ali. Okay, pernahkah JSM, FS, UTM alami data leak or data breach?
I don't know, because I'm not the administrator. I'm not the IT manager, right? Okay, but it's happened for individual cases. I will talk more. Please contact me if you want more detail about data breach or data leak at Jabatan Mathematics or Faculty of Science. I will talk more.
There is another question from Fali. Sekiranya kita log in tapi terlupa untuk log out, bolehkah berlaku data breach atau data leak?
That's why I told you just now, okay, please exit from the web browser. Okay, exit your, okay, means that there is no image about the system that you're using from the web browser. Okay, please take a time to log in and go to the proper lockout. Okay, all right. So now, okay, Dr. Fada, the
Okay,
issues now.
okay, the issues now. Just now you talk about chat, the
Mm.
online tutor. Okay, so do you have any idea how can UTM or we solve this kind of issue?
All right. So I know. Okay. Now the big issues is a check. Okay. Live tutor during the online examination. Okay. These are the big issues. We go through all this process. You can look. Okay. During the pandemic. Okay. 19 pandemic. You can see. Okay. We support the growth of the education. Okay. Online system. We are doing a studying, writing, okay, tutoring, and then solve their problem and then create the thinking, okay, mathematical thinking. All right, so we do the education 4.0 software with the student. Okay, we write examination question, course content, e-content, okay, video, okay, and then communicate with the synchronized and asynchronous teaching and learning from 2020 2021. All right, and then we also create a certificate for them. Okay, we share the e-content with them, and then we create the expert answers solution with them. But nowadays, okay, we have a problem with the student. Why? Because student now engage with the live tutor online during the examination. So there is a business out there, okay, to be a live tutor online for any time, and this happen the data breach, or we call as a restricted by the technology. All right. We hope that after COVID-19 pandemic, we can meet students again face-to-face solution where we can avoid, okay, we can minimize the data leak and data breach. Right. So now feel impressed, okay, because church will destroy your career. No, it's happened in 2018 where people, okay, post the question at the Quizlet. So how, okay, the Quizlet handling the solution of the question. All right, so your examination considered stolen by the Quizlet. That's their mind. Okay, they never talk about the live online teaching. You can see here when I go to the chat study, okay, there is a number of questions, means that how many people send the question through the chat. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 people. Okay, post the question to the chat study. And then this is a question. He said they asked us to solve using composite trapezoidal. So this is a big problem, okay, because they cheat us. There is no integrity. Let's relook at the church business. Okay, then there is so many customer. Okay, 30% from the first generation is what we call as a immigrant student. Okay, and then the second is in our case is a foreigner. All right, family income below than 25K. Okay, is not is a what we call B40 student lah. Okay, minority student, female, and this is their customer. All right. Okay, not just change implementing the live tutor. Other software, for example, Quizlet, Khan, okay, Course Hero, Varsity Tutors, all right, and they try to compare each other. Okay, based on the cultural learning and teaching environment nowadays. Okay, church is number 2, ranked number 2, and then based on, okay, product quality, church also number 2. That's why our students go to the chat. They not go to the Anki, memorize, okay, tutor, smart thinking, and others. All right, because you can see they can get the answer in below than 30 minutes. So what is the other software? Okay, you can read here. There are so many, okay, software, but church more on the live chat, live tutor, live support chat, live lesson, and so on. They're more on live, all right, compared to the Anki, Varsity, Maris, and other Duolingo. Duolingo is a 12 best online tutoring services for 2020. All right. That all chat also is a top tutoring apps for students. Okay, 15 sites that educators and students love for online tutoring and online teaching. All right, and then 11 best online tutoring website for the secondary level. All right. So now, what chat do? Okay, the first is, okay, they can implement, okay, anytime, anywhere based to answer the question, especially at the professional level, and then they can take around 15 to 20 minutes, okay, to solve this problem. Okay, so you can see here they can deal with the student through chat, through the audio and video. Very good business. This is a one-to-one training, tutoring from the expert tutor, and they believe that chat tutors believe that 80% of their students get a better grade. All right. And then the next is a student can find their tutor in any subject, okay, and anytime, anywhere. All right. One time question address or repeating, okay, session will be exist. So they provide also a few product. What is a product? Okay, is a live tutor online. Okay, the second is a math solver. Okay, and Thinking Full. Okay, is a skill-based learning platform offer the professional courses direct to the student and direct to the graduates. Okay, this is considered as a comfort zone for change because 60% is a huge selling point for the inventors. This is very important. And then first quarter 2020, they already, okay, achieved the gross margin up to 65 to 66%. However, now they can, okay, forecast a gross margin up to 68 to 69%. You can see through the graph here. Okay, you can see I put in the red color. In these 2 months, okay, church can earn up to 670 million, okay, US dollar compared to 2020. Okay, means that they can increase from the 2019 2020. The revenue growth is 2 times. Okay, is 2 times. All right. So this is very impressive, very good business. Okay, during the COVID-19 pandemic and new norm. Okay, so the tutors can earn around, okay, 49,683 rupee, or we can transform to ringgit Malaysia, 2,646 ringgit Malaysia. Why? Okay, because, okay, very good business because over 90% of the chip study users get a better grade, a better result, right? So this is integrity, especially for our student. We not blame to change, okay, because this is their own business during the COVID-19, but the student, okay, we need to do something, all right, with the especially how to perform the examination in the short time period, right? So easy to buy the church, okay, and then the cost is very minimum to solve this problem. To solve this problem, you need to create the time and technology, okay, the network, okay, that we want to beat the time, okay, from student post to the chat, and then the network, okay, the process to answer, okay, the question, and then the network to support the question back to the student. So this we need to beat the time, okay. Some of the lecturers, they develop 18 objective question and solve in 30 minutes, okay, or 2 subjective questions in 30 minutes, all right. Transform question into video, okay, video quizzes, okay. For example, I'm using Edupuzzle, Nearpod, and Flip Grips. I think Dr. Fuada will explain on the Flip Grips, okay. And then submission of the assignment is in the video or animation, because the weaknesses of the tutor at chat, they cannot, okay, solve the problem in the MP4, MP3, MOV data type. They can send to the text data. Okay. So the next is we use a watermark. Okay, what is a watermark? Okay, you can see this picture. Okay, many people have the birthmark, for example. So there is an ID for the examination, right? There is a time of the examination to control. So this is my paper and my friend. We estimate the software watermark. So I get some ideas from this paper. All right. So I think we need to create the watermark on top of the question. Okay, for example, I use a few software watermark on the in the market, in the cloud, for example, converting images. All right, so I can create the watermark. Okay, for my confidential document, for example, here. All right, so you can see this one example. Okay, they can put a time, they can put the more information. Okay, when the exam paper published. Okay, we can put UTM logo and so on. So the issue is, okay, when student print screen or take photo, okay, the watermark appear drastically clearly compared to the question. There are so many apps to do that. All right, so this is one of the solution. This edited solution is, of course, we are using webcam, we are using the authentication. Okay, for example, here, okay, we do a digital design exam. We need to redesign the quiz, the test, the examination question based on the technology. Suggest you a few software here that I'm using, and multi-factor authentication or code-based verification or biometric authentication. So the important is how to increase the reliability, scalability, and availability when you create the online question. Okay, online question.
My last question. So what is the future data breach, Dr. Norma? Do you have any thought?
Okay, the future, okay, for example, the future, we are as a lecturer, okay, we need to create active learning. We need to create the learning online strategies or face-to-face strategy. We need to create the analytical thinking or predictive thinking or innovative thinking. All right, so this is our function, okay, because this skill will be important, okay, for 2025, people say, all right. And then we also need to deal with the search engine, for example, Yahoo, Google, whatever. Student, okay, this is a job future of our student, which is very rare. Data provider, data analyzer, okay, system analyst, okay, data science, data analyst. This is our future job for mathematics student. So how we want to do this, okay, how we want to create this environment, because the data breach is always happen everywhere, every time, right? So to do this roadmap, okay, we give them very good skill on mathematics, on statistics, okay, doing a programming, okay, they know how to handle the data, they do the data visualization, all right, they engage with the deep learning, machine learning, okay, to do the predictive model and so on. So, right, and we continue with our responsible, okay, to do training, to do teaching, to do the ability, okay, increase the ability of our teaching and learning, okay, increase our skill, our competence, our literacy, okay, literacy and ethical. So these are our responsible. We keep going, okay. Even though there is a data breach and data leak happen to ourselves, okay, what still, okay, continue our responsibility, all right. So now there is some action, okay. Okay, we hope for future, all right, there is a standard cyber security practice in the educational environment. We hope, okay? And then we hope that university able to control and protect, okay, our data, all right, and establish the online security protocol to detect the mitigate more efficiency. So means that there is a data transfer from one IP to one IP. So what is the security protocol from a university perspective to control this environment? All right. Okay. What is the software that we can use? And then how to treat and detect the services, to identify, to validate, to intercept data cross, okay, between the software, between the hardware, between the device, right? And then we need the expert team with the actionable intelligence about the data leak. And of course, okay, there is a higher authority of Malaysia Department of Personal Data Protection or GPDP, okay, Data Government.my, to implement Akta Perlindungan Data Pribadi. Now that's one. Okay, there is a implementation of the personal data protection in the educational environment. All right. And then without action, so perhaps for the long-term consequence of data breach, okay, there is a loss of student trust, okay, to the educational environment, especially from our university, and then sizable fines for the organization will be happen, and then expose the social data, the personal data will increase. Okay, for example, your telephone number, your birthday, your home address, your license number, and so on. So the environment now is a low financial to support the special device for the special software. The government not put some money to increase the safety between the hardware and software that we're using now. And then second is a low compatibility between the device, meaning that we need a multi-function software working in other component, other dimension, other skill, other device. So the integration is a problem of the device compatibility. Okay, we need to solve. Okay, and then or we need to ignore. Okay, because most of the device now is not compatible, right, for the data security. Second is a low security level. Okay, we require the authentication, and then we require a strong firewall to the whole network, to support the whole network, right, to make sure that there is no failure for the security protection. Okay, not allow hacker to breach the security of the device. Okay, so the software education 4.0 that you're using. So this happen in the future. Now, the third is awareness about the three holistic philosophy that can we deal with the data breach and data leak. The first is a literacy. We know that the data is very complex, the visualization is very complex, the e-content is too many, and ability to read, ability to innovate, ability to understand, ability to share. So this is a holistic value is we need to design the data communication. How competent, if something network or software or hardware happen, how competent to prevent your data and to increase the data security. All right. Okay. How you can be more trustness, responsible, be more integrity, cooperate and engage with other parties and function with a good ethical, all right, to make sure that there is a benefit to the humanity in the long run. And then we believe that holistic value is needed for the humanizing is the solution for the data breach and data leak. All right. In terms of the intellectual aspect, for example, the knowledge, the wisdom, the choice of the intellectual element, the integrated between the spiritual, the roh, jiwa, the soul, hati, the heart, your heart, and the thinking, is a solution to avoid, to prevent, to secure from data breach and data leak. Okay, all right. So as a conclusion, there is no solution for avoid yourself from data loss, data breach, or data leak. So that's sharing. Okay, that is my keywords. My theme is a sharing is a caring. Knowledge is a sharing. Right. The second is that it's difficult to control the security level of data. Okay, the function of device and website for whole system. All right, for whole system, and then the low compatibility level between the device, between my CPU and your CPU, between my IP and your IP. That is difficult to control the data transfer. Improve the element of the privacy and security that I'm explain this now. Okay, the page of the second authentication for your education 4.0 software that you're using nowadays. All right, the device, the firewall. Okay, so encourage the mind setting across the student and educator, and then make sure that student rely on the environment of education safe and secure, right? So implement a secure email platform with a standard cybersecurity practice, and keep asking a question, keep reporting about the cyber criminal, have various tools, to detect the easy, and to exploit your database. Enforcement privacy law, under Malaysia government to do for the data protection, and then security policy. I hope that you'll be able to control the data breach, via your email, your website, your system, your server, file transfer network, okay, which is very important. We deal with the student in the educational environment. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fuada. And
Thank you very much, Dr. Norma Alias.
mhm.
Okay, so maybe there is some question from the floor, from the audience. You have any question or suggestion?
Two questions here. I can look at the chat just now. Okay, pernah ke fakulti sains alami data leak or data breach? Okay, alright. So you can go to this ICT. There is a report center. Okay, you can also fill a form. If you have a problem, you can report to the CICT UTM. Okay, there is a corner to report your problem on data leak or data breach, especially through your email, to your system dealing with the UTM, e-learning, ICT. The second is kita sekiranya kita login, kita boleh tak log out. Okay, kita terlupa log out. Okay, it's a common. Okay, you can go to log out. But you have to know, you deal with the IP, you deal with the server, you deal with the system, you deal with the network. Okay, so it will be happen data breach and data leak. This happen to the Facebook, to the Yahoo, to the Google. They're using email, but they forget to log out. This is a time for data hacker, social engineer, or malicious insider to attack or to exploit your database. Okay.
So if there is no question, thank you very much, Dr. Norma Alias. I hope you all enjoy this amazing presentation.